And we are back with Jamie Black.
That's what I wish my name was.
Did you? Really? This is See What Happens. I'm Rob Schneider, of course. And the podcast is See What Happens. I'm here with my buddy, Jamie. We're about to go do a gig. And you were just saying, what now? You wish you would have changed your name?
Yeah, because I listened to Jamie Foxx's autobiography.
Yeah.
And his name is not Jamie Foxx.
I wish I would have changed my name, too, to be honest with you.
His name is actually Jamie Leopard, and he changed it to... No, I don't know what his name was. But he changed Jamie Foxx so it would sound like a woman, and when he would sign up on the comedy club sheets, there weren't many women going up, so they would get priority.
Oh.
And that helped him with it. So I had always thought about changing my name.
Yeah.
And also my act.
You changed, but yeah?
Yeah, I do both.
And your future.
It's a shitty last name, though. It's hard to... Everyone says it wrong.
I know. Well, Schneider isn't exactly like a showbiz name. But you know that, like, Lenny Bruce, his real name was Leonard Alfred Schneider.
Oh.
The legendary comedian Lenny Bruce. But there was just this comedian who changed... there's a magician who I went to school with who was a graduate a few years before me. You know, like when he graduated like 4 years before he was like, or 3 years before. That's like a long time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I remember he's a magician. He changed his name to Mark Hardin. And I thought, like... Isn't his name like Jim Videopoulos or something, you know? And and I think he made the right, and I thought that was so phony, but now I realize that's a good idea, because like Tom Cruise is going to get more attention for like, who's that guy named Tom Cruise as opposed to like Tom Schwartz. Do you think Schwartz is another name? Bernie Schwartz was a guy, Tony Curtis. I mean, if he would have kept Bernie Schwartz.
Who knows what would have happened?
He would have never been Tony Curtis.
Now, why did Mark Hardin, if he had the pool to choose from of any words, any names, what made him pick just a regular name that was hard to pronounce? Like Houdini, he went for it.
Yeah, I think so.
Chris Angel.
Yeah. I mean, that's not real name, right?
I don't think so.
What is Chris Angel's real name?
It's a great question.
Yeah.
I'll Google it.
Maybe Monty's best joke.
A lot of people just call him con artist.
Yeah. He's making good money, though.
Yeah, he's great.
I like that one where he hovers, whatever that trick is,
Oh, yeah.
It's on the internet. You can look it up.
I'm looking up Chris Angel's real name.
Okay. Then we're going to get buzzing on our thing. What is it?
Christopher Nicholas Sarantakos.
Really? Mm-hmm. Sarantakos?
Yeah.
That's a horrible name.
It says here he began using the stage name Chris Angel when he heard about his real name.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
How much are you willing to change your life for show business? That's what it really comes down to. Like, how much, I don't know. I mean, I really do think, if I would have changed my name, I think it would have been better.
What would you have gone with? Did it ever occur to you to do that?
Bernie Schwartz.
You'd go Bernie Schwartz?
No, I'm just kidding. I don't know what I'd do.
Rodney Dangerfield.
You see, that guy, Jack Roy, I mean, I'm telling you, that made a huge difference to change his name. He was already like, a comedian back then, and then like, I don't know, I forget the story, but it's a good one. And it's really good that, especially that I'm telling stories on podcasts, that I don't know the story.
It is something, though, he changed it before. It was like a Carson or something, right? Because he wanted it to be...
Well, somebody said to him, you should change your name and blah, blah, blah. And it was back in like the 50s or so. I think it was like...
And he opened on Carson with something like, hey, if you're going to get a fake name, get a fake name.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to make up a name, make up a name.
Yeah. And it was great because Rodney, you can really... he's one of those guys that like... I was one of the honors of my life to be the pallbearer, one of the pallbearers at his funeral.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. He took a shine to me when I was a young comedian.
Dude, he's one of my favorite... I never knew this.
He said to me... He came up to me in the 80s and, hey, kid, you're really funny, very original. Hey, you want to hang out? I got some girls. I got some blow. Let's hang out. I don't know 100% sure if he said blow, but I'm pretty sure he did.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, this guy's a legend.
Where did you first meet him?
I met him at a comedy club.
And was he Jack or Rodney?
No. He was Rodney in the 50s. I'm not that old, you fucker.
I didn't know.
Anyway, no, but... yeah, and it was just like in the legends, hanging out with like, seeing Rodney. He used to perform in L.A. back in the 80s, like in sweatpants. He literally would just go up in his sweats, look like, like he literally just got out of bed. And then I did some animated thing, and I did it, because he was doing it. And then I did it, and he did it, because I was doing it. That's what he told me. That's what he said anyway. But he was like an hour late, and then the limo arrives because they sent a limo to his house. He gets out. He's literally wearing a robe. Every time you saw Rodney, you saw his dick.
I met him once, saw a robe and a dick.
Really?
And
yeah.
I met him one time. It was backstage in Vegas.
Every time anyone ever saw Rodney, you saw his dick.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, so he comes out of the. So I go out. There's Rodney out there, and he's like, he's an hour late. And I said, I didn't care. I was just happy to just see him, right? Anyway, so I go out. He's not getting out of the limo. He's just in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it pulled up, and then he's like, okay, he's here. Okay, is he here?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, yeah, he's out there. And so I go out there, and I open up the door. He goes, hey, Rob, how you doing? Hey, pal. It's always, hey, pal. And I go, good, man. He said, and he didn't make any effort to get out of the limo. I said, hey, man, I'm glad you're doing this. Hey. I said, are you going to
get out?
You going to come in? And he said, yeah, why not? So he comes in, and it wasn't like, it was some, I forget what animated. It wasn't like a top flight one, and, we weren't doing a Pixar thing, so, some forgettable thing. And so he comes into the booth and starts doing this, and we're opposite. We're doing it, at least we're in the same room doing this thing. And it was he's playing a rat or something, and I'm playing a rat, it's just one of these fucking stupid things. And the director starts taking this way too seriously. The director, this woman comes in and says, Rodney, we'd like you to sing it.
Oh, boy.
And he was like, what? Sing the part, sing it. And he just looks at me and said, so it's down to this. A singing rat. 50 years of show business. Now this is the low. And I just think, oh my God, Rodney. And it was just great. Anyway, so he said, I'm not doing that. I came in here, $25,000 to get in, get out. That's what I'm here. So you want me to get out? And that was it.
Good for him.
No, yeah. Anyway, he was funny. We went and saw him out in Vegas, and he had, hey, I got a lot of jokes. It's just like great to hear. I got a lot of jokes. I remember 200 jokes. How many guys can do that? Come on now. Hey, I miss him. I'd love to do that movie. I don't know why that guy's... He calls me once in a while. Your buddy.
Oh, yeah.
Harry Basil.
That's right.
But then I email him. I text him. I go like, what's going on with that movie? And then... Beep. It's like, and you never hear from him. But I really want to make that movie because I think his story is ridiculously great story. And if anybody hasn't heard of, if you don't know Rodney Dangerfield, where the hell have you been? But just go on that biography and see the life that he led.
That biography, from beginning to end, it's a novel.
It's unbelievable. You hope your life, can come out like his was, And he had a really tough time. He literally stopped. It was like Joe D'Angelo. Was that the guy?
I can't remember.
But he literally his wife died of cancer, and he stopped show business. He said, "Okay, here's the deal." He told his friend, "You're going to move in the house. You're going to be like the mom, and I'm going to be the dad." And then he went to work as a aluminum siding.
Mm-hmm.
He did aluminum siding until the kids got into college. Then went back into show business. But truthfully, when he got on TV back in the in the late '60s on the big show, the Ed Sullivan Show,
mm-hmm.
which was the biggest show Sunday night. That was the show. America stopped and watched that. So you would have 80 million people if it was like the Beatles would watch it, or you'd have on an off night 35 40 million people watch a show, 50 million. And so that was it. Once you got on that show, you were in, and so he did get on that show. But you can just see when he was still in his late 30s or early 40s, and he just looked he looked like a longshoreman, like a guy who was
mm-hmm.
an enforcer,
And he wore that red tie.
Well, this is before he found out, became Rodney.
Oh, okay.
And then, but by the time, a Caddyshack came around, that was he softened up. He became this old guy, old stiff guy. He could basically, the shoulders was on the shoulders and the knees and the head and the eyes popping out, But anyway, I don't know how I got on that.
It was my fault. I'm a huge Rodney fan. I met him one time backstage with Harry Basil.
Yeah.
And he's in the robe. He was watching outtakes for some movie he was working on. Robe, dick.
Yeah.
And I remember at that point I realized the difference between like the headliner's green room and the opener's green room, because he had like this beautiful giant room with like a spread with food. You have food sometimes.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he had peel and eat shrimp.
Yeah.
And I remember I went into Harry's dressing room and it was just the tails from the peel and eat shrimp. It was just very different.
I may have told this story on this podcast already, but like we flew out to go see Rodney, and it was Adam Sandler, and it was Quentin Tarantino and Judd Apatow, and me, and I forget, but like Tarantino came in his pajamas, and he didn't bring any clothes with him. We're going to be staying overnight, right? He leaves in his pajamas. Mm-hmm. And he's just like he's going to be in his pajamas the whole time. He's going to come back in his pajamas. And so, not exactly like in a very small plane. Not the guy you want coming back, in the same clothes. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway, so we go see Rodney, and Rodney smokes pot. He said, and I had dinner with him one time, and he's like, he said, "Hey, are you depressed?" And I went, It was just an odd question. Mm-hmm. And I said, I don't know. I mean, like, why? Are you depressed? He said, my whole life I've been down. Yeah.
God.
My whole life I've been down. I've been smoking pot. That's why I was smoking pot for back then. I've been smoking pot for 30 years. It's the only reason I'm still alive.
Wow.
Yeah. And so anyway, I remember I went like, well, sometimes I get a little bit, I would start mumbling like I do sometimes. And he looked at me and said, whatever. And so anyway, so we took the flight out. We go see him, and Rodney. We go see him perform on stage. We get great seats, and it's packed, and it's like a Saturday night or whatever. And he murders right in the middle of his act. I got a couple of friends out there, some terrific young comedians, Adam Sandler, Rob Schneider. Hey, great to have you here, boys. And hey, I got a lot of jokes or what, huh? And then after the show, we go up to his, he's got a suite at the top of the hotel, like they give the headliners, right? And he's up there, and of course, his dick's hanging out, his robe. He's got the robe and the dick always. And then
Louis C.K. stole that from him. I bet.
So anyway, so we go up to the top of the room, and then Rodney, he's wanted to make sure that he was still current, that he was still. That his stuff, and so the way he would ask that question was, so how was the act? What do you guys think? What did you think it was square? And that was just, was it 1940s vernacular? 40s, was it square? Was it not hip? Mm-hmm. And then Tarantino, and also he was smoking at that time, smoking pretty strong marijuana, and Tarantino was already baked at that point. I looks over to Rodney and he says, "So what do you think, boys? Did you think it was square?" And Tarantino didn't understand the question or didn't understand the context of the question. And he looks at Rodney and goes, "Hey, man, it could not have been any squarer.
Oh, no.
You're the squarest, man. I'm telling you, it could not. You are the epitome of square.
Oh, no.
If you look up square, it would be like, that was it, man, the squarest. Unbelievable." And Rodney was literally shaking like...
He went the wrong way with it?
He did. And Rodney went like, what the fuck's with this guy? This guy joking around with this? And I had to jump in and go, no. He didn't mean that square. He didn't mean like you didn't mean that in the square, like not a hip way, right? And he quickly sobered up, realizing he hurt the guy's feelings, the great Rodney. And he said, no, man, you're unsquare. There's no, I mean, you couldn't have been less square. You're not square at all, man. I mean, like, whoa. I think it's like, God. And that's what I think Rodney said. What the hell's going on with this guy? Anyway, and then Judd Apatow wanted to go and gamble because we're in Vegas, Mm-hmm. This is like 20 years ago. So he was a young guy, the youngish guy at the time, youngest of all of us, and no. We wanted to go gamble. We're in Vegas. And I said, come on, Rodney, come on, let's go gamble. It'll be fun to go gamble. And he said, hey, I'm going to lose. And I was like, come on, Rodney, how do you know you're going to lose? He said, look at me. Do I look like a guy who's going to win? I'm a loser. Look at me. And he says, come on, let's just go down. Let's go down. So anyway, he agrees. He puts on some shorts, mm-hmm. which is like just a gift to hide the dick already. Mm-hmm. And then he puts on like a little half robe or something, like a little, what do they call those things? It's like a little Japanese robe or whatever. Mm-hmm. What do they call those? Come on. Japanese robe.
I don't know.
Okay, good.
Let me Google it.
But anyway, so then we go downstairs, and he wants to play craps, so we can play craps. And I swear to God, the dice, when he rolled the dice, they didn't even hit the other end of the table. They didn't roll, and he didn't throw them soft. They just kind of, they just got his energy in the dice, and he lost. And he said to us, "I'm gonna lose $500, then I'm gonna go to bed." And that's when I said, "Are you gonna? How do you know you're gonna lose?" And then so we go downstairs to the crab table. Yeah, he rolls. And then just craps out. And then he rolls and then craps out. And I go, come on, give him the dice again. He's not going to crap out 3 times. He crapped out. He lost $500.
Shit.
And literally I don't know. It was less than 10 minutes. And he looked at me and said, "What'd I tell you? I'm a loser. I'm going to bed. What'd I tell you?"
Kimono?
Kimono, yeah. He wore like a little white kimono with shorts.
Shit.
White shorts, and those old guys who pull their socks all the way up.
Yes.
Because when you get older, you think about when you're younger, you don't pull your socks all the way up.
No.
You keep them slid down, right?
And some of them go no socks these days.
I know, and I'm never going to be one of those guys who wear those little hidden socks.
Yes.
Do you? You don't do that?
No,
do you?
I don't.
Because I can't be friends with you anymore. If
I
you
do not do that
That says to me
anymore.
you got to come.
I really treasure your friendship.
Okay.
No, I do not wear those.
I don't like those.
Ever.
I have a problem. That says a lot about a person.
Mm-hmm.
If you're wearing those little socks,
What does it say?
It says you are hiding something.
Oh shit!
You're cheating and lying in life about something, and that's not good. You can't wear those. If you're a guy, if you're a girl, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I
have a question.
Yeah.
So in the Rodney story, you had said he was curious because you guys were sort of the young guys.
He
goes,
loved the younger comedians and supported us.
and he wanted to know, am I hip? Whatever.
Yeah.
Do you ever have that? Because I definitely do. When there's a young dude on the show,
Yeah.
and they're super hip, just did a couple late shows type of thing. Sometimes I want that approval from them. Do you ever feel that at all?
I do watch some of the young guys. I think it's important. I mean, Chris Rock called me it was a few years back, and we were talking, and he said he was telling me he was watching, a young comedian who's really, really popular now, and he said, "I get it." He didn't say he thought he was hilarious. He said, "I get it, but you got to watch and see what the young kids are doing, get an idea of that." And I agree, to see what's happening. I mean, like when you and I saw Chappelle 4 or 5 years ago,
God.
that was seminal for us because I think he was at the top of his game, and then just to see him
It was incredible.
destroy, and also just to challenge an audience and do it on a Wednesday night and do 2 hours in San Francisco,
It was incredible.
and it was good. I mean, I didn't realize you could do that.
I remember watching him and thinking, I don't think I do the same job he does.
Well, you realize when you guys like that, and then Chris Rock I would put in the same category, and Bill Burr, and Louis C.K. I would say people go to see him. It's almost like in this very secular world that we live in, it's almost like people are going to see them for some sort of soothsaying. They're looking for wisdom, almost and I'm not saying almost. It is like a religious experience in the sense of they really do want to, have some connection to something, So, I mean, I don't say that it's like it. I think it is. I think people seem, especially back in 2015, 16, whenever that was, it's they go to see him because there's so much noise in the media and there's so much stuff out there how do you, it's when they see guys like Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock, please make sense of the world for us.
Yeah, he started talking about marriage and how to make a relationship work, and I was so I couldn't wait to hear what the solution was or what to do.
Yeah, you hope for that nugget of what, and then he would give it. You know?
Yeah.
He was talking about, which is beautiful. He was talking at that time. This is 4 or 5 years ago, so it was still new at the time. Talking about comparing the African American experience and what black people go through to what trans people go through, and who has it worse. And it was just such a wonderful, look at such an interesting thing that you and I would never spend our time probably doing. Right? And a great perspective. And I was like, oh my God. So anyway, I mean, I don't know. He's still just incredible. Yeah. So, but no, I don't know. When I see the young guys, I mean, truthfully, I would say stand-up comedy is different than, I would say or I should say, it's different than a lot of other art forms, or different than athletics, Athletics, in your 20s, you're at your best. I will say that, it's, in my opinion, and you correct me if I'm wrong, or if you think differently, because I'm not wrong a lot, is that it's similar to like an opera singer, like a male tenor. They don't get to their best until they're in their mid 40s. You know what I'm saying? Like Pavarotti and stuff. It just takes a while, that chest to barrel out and whatever. It takes, not in your 20s, not in your 30s, 40s. By that time, you're like 44. Boom, you're at your peak. And I do feel like, it takes 20 years, as a stand-up to really hit into that. 15, 20 years. It really is no shortcut.
100%.
Don't you think?
Absolutely. I will say, I totally agree with you. I will say when I worked with this dude in Vegas, he was just so clever and original and funny, and it made me sort of question my set. Like, it made me like really take a look at my set, and I found myself getting almost a little jealous.
Yeah.
And so what I did was, we totally got along, and I actually asked him, I go, dude, I swear I was watching you, and I find myself getting like a little jealous because you're like this young fucking guy.
Yeah.
And I go, I would like to pay you to watch my set and tell me what you think my best late night set would be. Mm-hmm. So I kind of turned it around where it was like and then he was like, dude, don't pay me. I want to ask you about this shit with acting and with whatever. And so we ended up just having this great
That's nice.
back and forth.
That's coming from a place of being a secure guy. Don't you think you were not that secure like 15 years ago?
Definitely not. I wasn't that secure. Yeah, 3 years ago. I feel like it's really changed a lot.
I mean, I do feel like the other night I was performing in a place. We did 2 shows on a Monday because I'm working on this new comedy special, and like, thank you for every little tag you've given me on this special.
Oh, hell yeah, man!
Your name's on there. It's going to be in the, in there for sure. But like there's the opening comedian, and I said, who was in Denver, nice guy, and I'm sorry I forget his name, and he did really well, but like I just don't think like, and I just said, should I not say something? Because he did like 5 minutes on his dick. Mm-hmm. And I said like, maybe, and I said, I do dick jokes and I do jokes that are whatever. But I said, maybe if you have a sold out show, with a headliner, maybe you try some new material or do some stuff that's a little more challenging where you can grow and use this packed audience. And I said, should I say that and waste my time, or is he going to appreciate it, or is this guy... Or is he going to be insulted or hurt his feelings? Whatever.
I remember this guy. You showed me a set list. It was just a picture of his dick.
So, anyway, and I said...
so did you say something?
I said, no, I'm not going to say anything. And then at the end of the night, I did. I was leaving. I said, you know what? And then he said to me, I said, maybe not do, the last 5 minutes on your dick. You're in for a packed crowd. He said, just use the crowd. I used to like... Because you never know what's going to happen to you if you open up for somebody. I used to, I opened up for like, Jerry Seinfeld, Dana Carvey, and then like, Dennis Miller in the day. And then, then because I opened up for Dennis Miller and I did really good and it was clean and good material, he recommended me for the Letterman show.
Wow.
So I was like, and then I got a Saturday Night Live. So,
holy shit.
I mean, Dennis Miller's gift to comedy, besides still being a great comedian, unfortunately, like, anyone who's slightly conservative, if you don't go along with the liberal intelligentsia, they murder you. Even Bill Maher, it was extremely too liberal for me in the sense of just, not really being open-minded to like the other side of the coin. You just get excoriated, right? Mm-hmm. And but let me just tell you, Dennis is still brilliant, and he's really always been really funny, and just his stuff was well. He would really manufacture his bits and the way that he would his wording and to create his own voice, which is a very unique voice in stand-up. And you know how hard it is to have a unique voice in stand-up, and he had it and still has it. I worked with him last year, and he was ridiculously great, very current and awesome. And I was very lucky. So anyway, so I said to the guy,
you never know. That's very true. You never know what will lead to what.
You never know. So I was like, why not? But I would try out material, and I'd also do my, if you have an audience, that's when you get to really tell if it works. Because, most of the time when you're starting out, you're working in some shitty place with 8 people, you don't know what's really working.
Oh, absolutely.
You kind of hope. So you wait till it's packed, Friday and Saturday. Okay, well, this really does work, for sure. So anyway, I did say something, and then you know what he said to me? While I was doing that material, I was thinking, I shouldn't be doing this material.
Oh, that's a great answer.
Yeah. So at least he was honest about that. And it's also like, I think it's important because the great comedians, and I mean this, the great comedians were always great to the other comedians who they thought were going to have the chance to go somewhere. Like literally, like Dana Carvey, maybe the most generous, nicest comedian that you can ever work with, and definitely one of the most talented guys. Next to Robin Williams, the most successful comedian to ever come out of San Francisco. I mean, those two guys were so good, they found other guys like me. They went looking. There's got to be another guy like Dana Carvey and Robin Williams. And that's how I got discovered. But this guy, you know, the seminal advice he would offer to you as other comedians, you know. Like I remember I moved to L.A. We drove down to L.A. together, and we're staying in his apartment, and he was doing some, you know, and he was, you know, telling me. Dana Carvey, yeah. And we're, I said, why isn't this guy the biggest star? He's the most talented comedian in San Francisco. He's hilarious, you know. Before he was famous, he was selling out every show in San Francisco. This guy was, you know, incredible, his characters and everything. And they just, you know, Hollywood doesn't necessarily know how to use people. Saturday Night Live was perfect for him. But I remember, like, thinking to myself, before that, he got on some TV show on NBC where he's playing, like, a helicopter pilot. And they said, we're going to let you be funny. But they only let him be funny, like, the last 2 minutes of the show. He's in a helicopter having to do bits. You know, this other guy, I forget what it was called. And it was called Blue Thunder or something like that. And I just remember, and it was like such an amazing thing. You know, I said like, and it was I said, if this guy's struggling, the most talented guy to come out of San Francisco, then what the hell am I worried about?
Right.
Then I should be struggling, absolutely.
Right.
And it's good to know that, you know, to like, there's this, it's tough. You know, it's tough. And you know, of course, he's went on to become one of the greatest performers ever in the history of Saturday Night Live. But like, so anyway, going back to that, like, you know, those clubs and those opportunities you have, you never know. Someone's going to be watching.
That's true. You know, when I opened for you, I don't know if this is the right or the wrong. It's the right thing, I guess, now that I'm thinking back on it. I opened for you at Nazareth College at a benefit.
That's right.
I'd never met you. We met for 2 seconds. I went up on stage, and before I went up, I was like, what jokes would Rob Schneider like the best? That's legitimately what I did. I said, like, what are my... Because anybody can kill, anybody can get laughs. But I remember going, just in case he watches, like, what are the weirdest, most clever jokes I have?
You murdered.
I just did
night.
that set.
You did so much better than me that night, man. You murdered.
Oh, no way.
No, you did, man. You did great. And but I just remember, I said, like, this is a guy who writes jokes, who forms jokes. And you reminded me of like one of my favorite comedians that I started with, who was originally from Seattle, my buddy Drake Sather, who was just, you know, God rest his soul. He's passed away now, but God, it's actually, it's February 5th. Yeah, it was. I think March 3rd, 2003. I think so. He passed away. But anyway, he was a jokesmith. He would just form jokes and just like make it compact, have a good beginning, middle, end, very logical progression.
Do you remember a favorite Drake Sather?
Oh God, there's so many of them. It's like my wife thinks I'm nosy. At least that's what she keeps scribbling in her diary. Isn't that a pretty good joke?
I love it.
And and he said, and he used to do stuff that like
I love that.
I like jokes that only he could do. You know, it's like that only like like in other words, it's like his voice.
Mm-hmm.
Like he used to say this in the club. He said, my girlfriend said, I said, what do you want to do? And my girlfriend says, I want to do what you want to do. Really? You mean you want to go fuck that girl in the skirt over there?
That's great.
We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to talk about what we're doing. Thank you for joining us on this. I don't even know what this show's about.
Comedy?
Yes. Comedy.
Pseudonyms?
That sounds good. Comedy pseudonyms. And we'll be right back. If you're listening to the podcast, we want you to know this is also available on YouTube. See What Happens podcast, so you can check that out too. Or just listen while you're driving your FedEx truck. All right, here's some dates to see Rob Schneider. I'm doing a bunch of gigs getting ready for my comedy special that I'm shooting. And that's going to be February 29th in Salt Lake City at the Gene Wagner Theater. All right, so the first couple shows are sold out, but I think we might be adding a show there because we're going to be shooting it, and I'd love to have you come out. I love shooting. I love being at Salt Lake City. Such a great crowds, and I'd like to have you come out. And then I'm going to be at the Funny Bone Toledo. I haven't been there in 10 years, and that's the 13th of February. And then the Funny Bone, Liberty Township, Ohio, which is a great little room. It's like basically Cincinnati there. And that's the 14th of February and the 15th of February. Okay? And then Mark Ridley's Comedy Castle, Royal Oak. I've only been there one other time, about 5-6 years ago. Royal Oak, that's going to be February 16. And that's going to be fun. There's one night, right? No, wait a minute.
One night.
Yeah, one night.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Great room.
And then Improv
Nice
Raleigh. I'll be there February 21st and 22nd. Hi, Madeline. And then that's it.
You're also there the 23rd. You have a Sunday show.
Oh my God! I did not agree to that. That'll be fun. and then I'll be with you in Washington D.C. at the D.C. Improv, 24th and 25th. Well, Monday, Tuesday. That'll be fun.
Awesome.
It's gonna be great. So, okay, you're listening to See What Happens podcast. You can do it. And we're back.
We're back.
Hey, so Rodney gave me this after he passed away. His wife gave out all the pallbearers his this gift. It was really nice. It was Rodney's signature on this glass enclosed shoehorn, and he said, "This is what I use for my dick."
Do you have it still?
Yeah, it's
gotta be somewhere.
Somewhere. Yeah, I got this. Hang on, I just found this. This was up here.
What do you got? By the way, Rob's office. I don't know if you can see much of it on video, but it's a museum basically of cool shit.
This is Conan O'Brien's script.
What? Conan O'Brien's script?
I don't know.
Wow. Oh, the SNL?
Yeah.
Wow.
He was a writer there the first year. Him and Greg Daniels were writers, and they were partners.
Holy shit. Al Franken.
He had a great story about, there was this thing, one of the biggest disasters ever in television was a show called the North Report, or the North something report.
Okay.
And and it was like it was going to be like a late night show, whatever, and he was one of the writers and producers of it, blah, blah, blah. And it didn't go very well. But I remember like the one story, I'm butchering the story, I'm sure he'll tell it a lot better. But he's like, the show was going, the ratings are horrible. It's like the North Report, the Northern Report, or whatever. And the ratings were really bad. The show's about to get canceled. And then Conan comes in, and the producers believes, "Hey, guys, come on in, man. How are you? Anyway, hey, man, have whatever you want. It's right over there." And he goes, "Whatever you want." And he looks over, and it's like these little bits of bagels and like crumbs. And he went like, "Oh, man, it's all falling apart." Have whatever you want. What the hell is this? It's like a half a bagel, half whatever you want.
Finish whatever you want over there.
Yeah. But anyway.
This is fascinating. So this is
I got to give that back
to
to him. I've been meaning to give that back to him for 30 years.
This is so cool.
But anyway, I don't know. I got to throw some stuff out. My wife's she's getting an organizer. You know what that means? A dumpster. I'm getting an organizer to look at some stuff. It's a dumpster. Here's your organizer out there.
Literally, every 6 months, I come to Rob's house, and Patty's throwing things away in a giant dumpster. Every 6 months or so.
The only thing that's protected is this room. This is like my one place I can come in and be protected. This chair sucks, though. I got to get a more comfortable
Does
chair.
it?
I want to get like the most comfortable chair ever made and just put it right back here.
Do you know you
and
can
then never leave this room?
Do you know you can spend? My friend at CBS sitting next to me, he had this chair, and one day I go, "Can I sit in your chair? I want a new chair." So I sat in it, and I was like, "This is it. This is the chair."
This is the best chair ever.
$1,200.
Really?
That's a lot for a chair.
I would spend that money. This is a piece of shit. It just looks the same color as the desk.
He sent me the link because I was pretending I could afford a $1,200 chair, but I have the link.
You can.
I guess I could.
I'll get it for your birthday.
I'd love that.
Hey, what's look at this nice picture of us, by the way. Come on.
Me and you? What is this? Oh, picture from
where were we?
Overseas. We were either in Korea or Guatemala.
I think we were up north in the
Greenland?
North Pole. We're in Greenland.
Greenland.
At the U.S. Army Air Force base.
That was fun.
Remember they told us that we might not be able to land, but we could land. We're going to try.
Yeah.
Remember that? There's a window we can get in.
Did we ever tell the story where I don't know if we ever told on the podcast, where you and I are at the airport and we're working for the military and everything's organized. Everything's on schedule. Everyone has your paperwork and we're supposed to get on this flight that goes like 8 hours to Miami. And then it was going to like Honduras or something.
Which was like an hour.
Hours later.
2 hours, yeah.
But it turned out where we were, if we had like our own plane, it would only take an hour to get to the next destination.
Yeah.
But we were taking a commercial flight back to Miami. It was going to take all day and all. And so Rob spots these, the Air Force guys.
Yeah.
And he goes, "You guys, anybody got a plane? You could give us a lift over to." And I go, you can't. It's the military. You can't just say you want to ride on an air. And the guys, we almost made it happen.
I know.
And
they didn't make it happen.
Do you remember the scariest thing was?
What?
Our flight was boarding.
Yeah.
And we still did not have an answer yet as to whether or not we'd be getting the short flight over to. And our flight was boarding, but we're not going to know.
Yeah.
And so I go, "Rob, the flight's boarding, so I guess we should." And you're like, "Just wait." And I'm like, "Yeah, just wait." You let the plane leave,
Yeah.
and we didn't have an answer.
Yeah.
And they didn't take us.
And they didn't take us.
But we made it anyway.
That's when you know your fame is diminished. That's how you measure it, If you can get into the Diamond Lounge at the airport and you're not a member, and you go, "Oh, I must have a new movie out." Or not get into the Diamond Lounge. I haven't done anything in a while,
Yeah.
But no, the military is very strict about things, and we almost got out.
It was so close.
But they were. All those guys couldn't be better.
That's great.
It could have been nicer. We're gonna do another one. Come on, I'll let you know about that. It's good. It's always good to, every couple of years, whenever to go out and then because it's the greatest audience, man.
I remember you telling me a technique for a handshake, and I go, "Well, I'm not going to need this," and because your hand, from shaking like 300 hands, it literally gets swollen. You feel like your hand's broken.
It does. Well, Abraham Lincoln in the Historical Society in Chicago. There's a because he's from there in Illinois, right? There is a cast basically of his hand, and where he had to hold on to that after his inauguration because he shook 10,000 hands and he broke his hand. So anyway, when I went over overseas to do, he said, "You're going to shake 1,500 hands today." And this is the sergeant major, like the number one guy in the army. The sergeant major said, "Listen, you're going to need to protect yourself because these guys are really strong. These army, they're going to crush your hand because they're happy to see you. They're not going to do it on purpose. So you just got to get in there." And so his technique was to get in and put the few fingers on the wrist so they can't kill you.
Yes, your pointer finger and your middle finger, as you shake, goes onto the wrist. Game changer.
Oh yeah, you get in there and then they can't kill you. They can't
That's a game
crush you.
changer.
Yeah, that was one of the good ones I remember. I've never forgotten that. And sometimes when you do forget to do that, then you get crushed, right?
Oh yeah. Oh hell yeah. It was ridiculous.
And I'm like a midget anyway. They can kill my hands. But yeah, those are good trips, huh? Aren't they very memorable?
Amazing. Unbelievable.
What do you take with you from those trips?
I'd love to do it again. I feel like it's you just feel like it's just extreme gratefulness the entire time and just feeling so lucky to do what we do to the point where people thank us for going over there. It's almost embarrassing that we're being thanked. What they're
and the sacrificing being away from family and friends and risking their lives. I mean, it's whatever you can do for these guys. I remember sticking around and they take some pictures with the VIPs. What VIPs? Mm-hmm. They're all VIPs. Let's take pictures with everybody.
This was so great. I remember one night.
They're all VIPs. Who else isn't? They're all risking their lives or away from their families.
Right.
These are the guys in the army. These are our army.
That's
It's
a
our
good
Air
point.
Force. They're all VIPs.
No non-VIP. But the one night, there were easily 1,100 people in the crowd. And the promoter was like, "Yeah, Rob, we'll have just enough time to take pictures with the 75 people that won the VIP thing or whatever."
Yeah.
And from stage, Rob just goes, "We're taking pictures with everybody."
Yeah.
1,100 people. We were there for hours. It was great, but it was really funny.
No, but it's the right thing to do. If you're already there.
Yeah. What the hell else are we going to do?
I know.
It was great.
It was fun.
I have a question for you. This is
no.
really unrelated.
Good.
But I just got a haircut.
Yeah, too short.
Today. Oh, okay, too short. I was wondering if it was too short because I was going to say your wife, she goes, "Oh, Jamie, you got a haircut." And then that was the end of it. Usually somebody goes, "You got a haircut," and they follow it with,
"It looks good."
It looks good. You look neat. She just goes, "Hey, you got a haircut."
You know what?
She looked like she was mad.
She was just saying that wasn't a good move.
That's what I felt.
You know what I'm saying? Because hair is really important for people, but for you, it's crazy important.
It is?
Because if you do much, you go from a 7 to a 2 with the haircut.
Shit.
Yeah, you really.
I just got
you expose too much of your head.
Do I?
That's a bad thing. Yeah,
I should just put my hat on.
You should put your hat on, or go with at least the headphones are hiding some of that bad haircut.
I don't know if it's going to make sense if I wear these out of this room.
You have to spend more than $10 to get a haircut. I don't know if you know.
$45. I was trying to get my money's worth. I go, how much can you give me for 45? How much? Can
I'm
you
getting
cut
used to it, but like, no, you should let you got good hair. You should use the hair.
The problem I have is when I start, I'm obsessed with working out right now.
Oh yeah,
obsessed. And when I'm
You
obsessed,
hate-
I
yeah.
hate having the long.
I know.
But I mean, given the new information about what my head and face looks like, and the 5-point reduction
Yeah.
out of 10, I'll take the. I'll wear a hat to the gym.
No, I'm the same way, buddy. I like if I don't have my hair figured out, I'm like, I swear to God, Patricia thinks about divorcing me every time. She looks like, I don't know if I could live with that head, and so I have to really be careful. In the morning, I got to quaff.
You know what?
What's left to quaff?
What made it even worse is I came in really expecting a compliment from someone. I mean, I came in hot,
I know,
really cocky.
No, you shouldn't go too short. You look good short, but not too short. Don't be
Okay.
too long either.
Okay,
You're not a guy who could pull off a mullet. You know what I mean?
it'll grow.
And you're also getting older. And let's be honest. You know,
Getting
you get in your
older.
40s, you got to like have a certain amount. You know, you can't.
Okay.
If you're in the military, it's a good cut. If you're not,
Okay.
not.
All right, and I'm not in the military, so that's officially an insult.
So, dude, how about the phone hearing everything you say, and then like,
The it's crazy.
how about that? Isn't that nuts?
We're talking about
This is
Rob's
nuts.
wife just got a Peloton bicycle.
Yeah, for me, I think, because you put it right next to my side of the bed. I used it last night. I did 20 minutes. Yeah,
Really?
I did 20.
Nice.
That's good for me. It was my best workout.
It's
ever.
hard, right?
Yeah, it is, but it's really good. No, I mean, I'm sold. I mean, the Peloton, we're not sponsored by anybody, but I will say that it's a good thing. It really is good because you know what's good about it? The machine works, and but the guys, the people that are helping you, they seem to be very, very. You know, you do the program, and they have the leader of the class,
Yeah.
and the guy is looking right at you, going, "Come on, man, you got this."
I
You know?
love that.
It's very positive. It reminds me of like the antithesis of my childhood. Robert, what's the matter with you? When do you turn off, Robert?
Oh,
You know,
that's so nice. But I
you're
said
not
there-
an idiot. You're supposed to get good grades. You know, that's the way I grew up.
This is so nice
It's the
that
opposite.
it's
It's very, you know,
it's the parent you always wanted. The parenting.
antithetical. Yeah. So it's good.
But I say to you, I love that bike. I think I would really love a Peloton treadmill.
Yeah.
I go because I'm like a walker and I like to sprint. I walk into the kitchen, I pull up Instagram, and the first thing on my Instagram feed is an ad, not just for Peloton, for the treadmill.
Wow.
Dude, they are listening.
No, they are.
And right below that, condoms.
And why are we okay with that? And right below that, condoms.
Yeah, because
they're listening before
some
you
of the
came in
stuff I was
house.
talking about on the ride over.
Yeah. Which is disgusting, Jamie. You got to stop doing that. Hey, no, that's true. Why are we okay with that? Why don't they go burn Google down and Apple headquarters? Why isn't there legislation? Because I don't think people care. I think they're so distracted. They're so happy with their luxury items. And I think like the government and I think like big tech and all that stuff, they depend on our addiction to this stuff. And I think it is an addiction. Absolutely. I mean, but like modern convenience, I remember like Henry Miller has that book, it talks about where is it here? The misery of air conditioning and how it's ruined the world. What is it called? I forget. It's a Greek title.
Oh, it's called Fuck Air Conditioning?
The Colossal of fucking I forget. It's I'll look it up, but I'll have David look it up and I'll put it on the thing. But he just talks about how like air conditioning is like ruin the world. You know, it's like you should get used to it. It should be hot. It's hot. Deal with it. That's part of the world.
We
You
didn't
know
have
what I
air
mean?
conditioning growing up. You didn't, right?
No, we didn't have air conditioning. Sometimes it was hot. You couldn't sleep. It's too hot. But if you're hot every night, you're gonna do something about it, right?
Open the window, you put a fan on.
Yeah, like I think I've told you this before. Like my buddy Martin Landau was up there on the picture somewhere. And they said, "What did you do before air conditioning?" And they said, "Well, my mom would just in Brooklyn, they'd open up the windows at night, and then she'd take the sheets, and then she would wet them. She would soak them in the bathtub in cold water and wring them out, and then put them on the bed as the water's coming out. It cooled you down a little bit."
Brilliant. Yeah, people
Yeah.
find a way. But I think I did, on behalf of Instagram, I Googled, like, are they listening to us and using it for ads?
Are they?
And the CEO says, absolutely 100% not. Your microphone is only enabled for videos, whatever. And he
That's
says,
a
no
lie.
way.
That's a lie.
And he says it's either luck or because that was on the top of your mind or whatever. But it was the treadmill, Rob. It was the treadmill.
I know it wasn't even the Peloton
was so
bike.
crazy.
That's got to be such a small part of their business.
Yes.
How we doing?
We should probably get the hell out of here and drive to...
We got a gig tonight in San
La Jolla.
Diego. We should promote it because this is going to come on after the gig already finishes.
yeah.
Okay. If you guys want to go back in time, You could see Jamie Lissow and I.
And it's sold out. So go back before the
Go back
tickets
in
are gone.
time before this and to where it was still tickets available. Because it's a small club. I don't think we're selling out some gigantic theater in San Diego. We're just brushing up and having fun for a couple hours at La Jolla Comedy Store tonight. But we are going to be together
Yes.
in Washington, D.C., which is one of the premier comedy clubs. I think it's one of the last original comedy clubs where they haven't made it into like a comedy mall, where it's too big. And it's what comedy clubs should be, this underground basement hellhole where you can hide in the dark and laugh at horrible ideas and, and where you don't get judged by it. And that's one of the last ones left, is that improv in Washington, D.C.
Love it.
And
Can't wait.
when are we going to be there?
25th and 26th of February.
25th, 26th. And there's still some tickets available for the comedy special that I'm shooting. You going to come out for that?
I'm coming out 29th.
Yeah, so you're going to do a warm-up. It's a little different than your stand-up now.
All right.
The director wants you to do different stuff.
Okay.
So, but that's the 29th. There's 2 shows, and there's a few tickets left. We just opened up a few. We just added a row. We took a camera out, but it's a beautiful show.
Sweet.
And it's going to be very special. And my comedy special,
Can't wait.
Fly Me to the Moon with Rob Schneider, and that's going to be February 29th, Salt Lake City. And
By the way, for anybody that wishes they could have made it to the San Diego show, you're actually back there for a weekend.
When?
Later on this year.
Why don't you come with me?
So I'd love to.
Come back with me. We'll
Just
do this
check
again.
robschneider.com.
But thank you, Jamie, for doing this. And it's always fun to reminisce and stuff. And then the good news, me and you, we got more stories ahead. We're going to be working on making an announcement about our new TV show.
Hell yeah.
We'll be doing that soon. And thank you for listening to See What Happens. We'll have dates. Go to robschneider.com. And how do people find you?
My website is robschneidersfriend.com, and I'm on Instagram at IamJamieLissow.
Do people really go on that, robschneiderfriend.com?
Not a ton of people because I don't update it, but it's like
it's a good joke.
a few hundred a week.
Okay, good. It'll be a good joke for tonight. Okay, thanks for listening, and thanks for watching on YouTube. See What Happens. We'll catch you again. And, until then, see what happens!